Good morning, Sujit. Shall we start a class? Okay. Yesterday we have discussed about integer types, then our data types, right? So what are the data types we have discussed yesterday? Today we will see the other concepts related to Java's data types. What are Java's integer types? I know what are Java's integer types. So basically, do you know the answer for this? Soumya? Soumya? Java's integer types. Do you know about the integer types of Java? Int is a data type. Yes. Byte, short, long. These all are these all are Java's integer types. Now, a Boolean variable can have which values? Second question. Okay, Kiran, let me know answer from your side. Boolean variable can have which values? Lina, true or false? Only two values it has, that is true or false. Now we'll concentrate on little bit, that is primitive and non-primitive data types, the difference between these, right? So primitive and non-primitive, it is displaying in my screen. Okay, so primitive data types. Here these are built-in data types. Primitive data types are what? Int, float, char, boolean, right? These all are built-in data types. But non-primitive data types are created by users. We will going to create those data types, right? And does not support additional methods. So default methods, whatever the default methods are there, those methods only going to support. But apart from additional methods will not going to support in primitive data types. But in here non-primitive data types, additional methods may going to support. If you want to create a class, or if you want to create different kinds of class, you can combine from one class to another class with the help of different kinds of methods. And in primitive data type, it has a value but it can be null. Always we will mention primitive data types, it has the value, but non-primitive data type, it can be null. And it primitive data types starts with lowercase letters, but non-primitive data type starts with uppercase letters. This is the difference between primitive and non-primitive data types. And here size depends on the data type, and here same size for all non-primitive data types. These all are the simple difference between primitive and non-primitive data types. Now we will move on to literals. So what do you mean by literals? You know very well, already we have written some Java programs, and you know, but you don't know exact meaning for literal. In Java, literals refer to fixed values. See, it is fixed values that are represented in their human readable form. So it is basically what it is, fixed value, right? For example, I am writing here int number is equal to 100. It is a literal. Which one is literal here? 100 is a literal. It is a fixed value. So which type of literal it is? Int literal. This is a meaning. And sometimes we can call literals are constants. Constants or literals, both are same meaning. Literals may be numbers, or it may be text, or anything that represent a value, that we can call literal. In other words, we can say literals in Java are the constant values assigned to the variable, that we can call literal, or we can also call constant. In literals we have integer literals in Java. So it may be hexadecimal, octal and binary literals. These we can call constant or literals. So in integer we have make 4 different ways, that is, one is decimal literal. So decimal always starts from 0 to 9, or called what we can say decimal literal. Okay, so decimal will going to represent from 0 to 9. So for example, I can write here int x is equal to 101. So numbers I am mentioning here from 0 to 9. So 0 to 9, here I am using 101. It is decimal literal, or it is number. So this is nothing but what? Literal. Which kind of literal? Decimal in literal, like that. Okay, now understood this literal? Anyone reply? Sujit, Kiran. Okay, so okay, now we will see octal. Octal means it is base 8. Number 8 we can call octal. Digits from what? 0 to 7 are allowed, right? 0 to 7. So it should always have a prefix 0. Concentrate here. So while writing octal, yes, okay. ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಿರಣ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Now you understood. Okay, now you understood the literals. Literals are nothing but constant, that we can assigning different kinds of values to variable. Those we can call literals, right? Is it clear? Literal. Now octal. Octal is what? It is 8. A number base is what? 8. So we can represent this octal in 0 to 7. Numbers are only allowed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So always remember, if you are assigning octal to the variable, you should use 0, or you have to assign prefix with 0. So here I am writing here 0. Int x is equal to 0146. It is octal representation of literal. So literal values means in this case what you can say 0146. It's a literal. So which kind of literal? It is octal literal. How you are identifying whether it is octal? Because 0 is prefixed. So that's why we can say it is octal. Now hexadecimal, these are all belongs to which data type? Int data type, right? So integer literal we are discussing now. So in hexadecimal it is base 16, we can call it as hexadecimal, and it must begin with 0x or 0 capital X. Okay, it is a symbol we have to represent, like we have represented in octal, starting with what? 0. Here starting with 0 and X. X, it may be small or uppercase letters, and in digits we are going to allow 0 to 9 are allowed, and also characters from A to F are allowed in this form. Apart from numbers we can only use 0 to 9. So if you want to use more big number, so in that case we are going to use letters, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, up to F letters we have to use. So int hexa is my variable name, no need to write exactly hexa, it is your choice, so you can write any name here. So int variable name is equal to 0x, compulsory you have to use if you are using hexadecimal, then followed by numbers or letters only from A to F are allowed. So it is called hexadecimal. Now in binary literal, in this type we should have prefix 0b and 0 capital P. This prefix starts with 0 B, small case letter B and uppercase letter B. One can also specify the binary literals, that is in binary only two numbers will going to represent, either 0 or 1, right? So apart from mentioning 0 and 1, we have to prefix 0b, it is main important, 0b. So int x is equal to what? 0b 1011. This is a binary form or representing number. So it is about binary, right? Are you writing right? At least in a shortcut way. Binary we have to use 0b, and some example if you have to write, or simply you are seeing and watching, it will not helpful for you. Now character escape sequence, sometimes this question may going to ask, explain character sequence, escape sequence characters, or explain constant character, like that they will going to ask. For 5 marks they may going to ask. So here escape sequence means what? We have to escape this slash. In general way I am telling, but we need single quote in our statement. Suppose you are printing any information using SOP, in that case you need single quote in your output. So for that you have to use slash single apostrophe. So slash will going to escape from compiler will going to skip for this slash, then it will going to display single apostrophe in your output, that is the meaning. Then if you want to display double quotes, you can use slash double quotes. Then if you want to use backslash, here you have to write double backslash. Then carriage return, it means what? From current cursor position it will going to display. Then if you are using a new line, so you have to use slash n. Then in here you have to remember at least any 5 you have to remember, not compulsory to remember these character sequence. So at least you have to try to remember any 5. So I am using here slash t. Slash t means what? It represents a tab, means a column wise it will going to give the output column wise. And slash b is used for backspace, and slash triple d is represents octal constant. Here d is nothing but your octal constant. And similarly slash u followed by for x, these all are hexadecimal constant. So here these x is nothing but hexadecimal constant. Here you can write your hexadecimal numbers followed by preceded by what, /u, then preceded by /d is representing octal and hexadecimal constant. In next class we are going to use these escape sequence characters if you are interested. Otherwise it's for writing purpose, you just remember any 5 sequence characters. Now we will move on to next important literal is string. Here we have to use string literal. Here are any sequence of characters. String is means what, more than one character, more than one character we can call it as a string. Only one character we can call it is a character, but more than or sequence of characters we can call string. For example, hello I have written here. So how many characters are there? Total 5 characters are there, right? So more than one character we can call it as string. So this string literal, how you are going to write? String, you have to write S capital. Remember this, S capital, string, then followed by variable name str. You can define any variable name here, not only define str, but you can also define any kinds of variable as per your choice, right? So string is fixed. If you want to assigning any strings, any words, assume any words, you can use the words S is capital here, string followed by variable name, then within a double quotes you have to assign. In a character, in previous class we have seen character. So character we have assigned within single quote, but in string we have to assign double quotes. This is the difference between string and character. And here I am using simple string my string. String is a data type. Here my string is variable name, then I am assigning hello welcome to Java. This I want to print, and this I am going to store in variable name is my string. Which type of my string? It is a string. So here S is capital. In this slide you are going to learn about how to represent a string and how to assign a string to the particular variable. Within a double quotes you have to assign, then while writing a string S should be capital letter. So string my string hello welcome to Java. So it will going to print in your output. Here I am printing this output using SOP. The string is what I am writing plus my string. So whatever this content is there in my string, it will going to print. Is it clear? Anybody reply? Are you understood or not? Okay. Okay, fine. Are you writing na little bit? Now we'll see a closer look at variables. So we know already about what is variable, how to declare a variable, how to assign a variable, or how to assign a value to variable. We already know this concept, but from your syllabus it is there, so I am discussing these information. So variables are declared using this form of statement. So which form of statement? Type followed by variable name. Type means what here? Lina, type means what? Data types. It may be int, float, char or boolean, right? So these all are type. Then followed by variable name. What is the variable name? Given name per memory location, that is nothing but variable name. So variable name is user defined types. So you can define any kind of variable name, and we have to follow the standard rules to declare a variable name, like we have discussed in identifiers, right, in previous class. So those rules we have to follow to declare variable name. So I am giving small example here. Int MCA. Int is a data type, MCA is a variable name, so it is holding the value 100. So it is integer type, so it's holding the which data type? It is int data type. Then variable name is MCA. This is a variable information. Now initializing variable. Initializing variable means what? Just now we have seen int MCA is equal to 100 is equal to, that is nothing but assignment operator. With the help of assignment operator we are going to initializing our variable, right? So general form of initialization is type variable followed by assignment operator, then followed by value. What value you are going to assign? Here value is a value that is given to where, that is a variable name, right? That variable var is created by whom? That is user or programmer. The value must be compatible with specified type. Compatible means if you are assigning number, right, number purpose or whole numbers, it should be int. If you are using decimal numbers, it may be float or it may be double. Or if you assigning character, it should be which data type? Char data type. That is what you can call compatible. Here I am assigning 10 to variable name count. Which data type? Int data type, because 10 is number, so I am using int data type. Then next I am assigning x. Within a single quotes I am assigning x to the variable name ch. So it is a x, so that's why we have to write data type is char. Then here I am using decimal numbers, that is 1.2. It is nothing but what? Decimal point. So I am assigning this which data type? Floating data type. So this is what initializing of variable. Initialization means I always use assignment operator, nothing but equal symbol. Is that clear? Initialization of variable. Understood? Now the scope and lifetime of variables. So this concept, it is also one important question, that is okay, scope and lifetime of variables. Sometimes they may going to ask in your theory exam, so 5 marks. So today we'll only see the definition of scope and lifetime. So in the next classes I am giving live examples for these information, that is scope and lifetime of variables. For now just remember the what you mean by scope and what you mean by lifetime. In detail we will going to learn in next classes. Okay, so scope of variable refers to in which areas or sections of a program can the variable be accessed. We are declaring some variables, int MCA 100, int AITM 100, like that, right? So we are declaring these variables in particular sections. For example, there are 3 sections will come: instance variable, local variable, right? Then these we can call sections, like global variable and local variables. You might have heard these technical terms, local variable and global variables, right? So these we can call scope of a variable. Wherever we are declaring variables in a different kind of sections. So in Java we have 3 kinds of sections, but these refers what? Positions. Variable positions it will going to refers. So this is called scope of a variable. And the lifetime of variable refers how long the variables stays alive in memory. So lifetime, when it will going to dead the variables. See, after executing you will get the output in your console window. So after executing, still your variable is present or live in your memory. After closing your output, that memory will going to erase, or whatever you have allocated memory for that variable, it will going to erase. That is what we can say lifetime of variable. Is that clear? Scope and lifetime. Or shall I explain once again for these two concepts? Scope means there are three sections in our Java program. In that three sections we are going to define a variable. That is called scope of a variable. In a lifetime variable, what will happen? How much time it will stay in a memory, that is called a lifetime of variable. After executing some variables, what will happen? After executing your program, that variable address will going to erase. So some variables will not going to erase. That is called a lifetime of variable. Is it clear? Kiran? Simply say yes sir, don't say yes sir. Now we will see operators. The next concept, operators. These all are basic information like data types and operators. To learn any language, you compulsory need what kind of data types, then what are the operators. Based on these two informations, we will going to learn Java language, right? These all are basic information like what operators, then data types. So now we have studied different kinds of data types. Then today we will going to see operators. So let me know to discuss these operators. While using a float, so how can I assign a value to the float data type? Kiran? Kiran is left. Sujit? ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ರೂಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳು ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪಿಗೆ. ಹಾಂ, ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಬ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎನಿ ಒನ್ ಟೆಲ್ example of a plot? ನಾನು ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊರಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನೇನು ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ? ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ x is equal to, very good, f. We have to use f because we are using float as a data type. So in that case, whatever we are assigning the value, then compulsory we have to use f. Then in double also we have to use d, right? So in assigning string to variable, so which code should I use? String. To assign a string, which code should I use? double quotes. If it is character, so we have to use single quote. Alright, now we'll see on operators. So this is also important question, operators. So in theory exam definitely they may going to ask, explain kinds of operators, or explain arithmetic and relational operators, or explain bitwise and logical operators. Like that question will going to ask. So better you have to remember these arithmetic, bitwise, relational and logical operators, right? So we will see, first one is arithmetic operators. Here you have to remember these symbols. Then plus means addition, minus means subtraction, star means multiplication, division, slash means division, mod, this we can call mod operation. So modulus, then plus plus it is increment, minus minus it is nothing but decrement operators. We are using these operators in arithmetic operators. Small example I am using here. So remember, int a, I am assigning two values a and b. These all are variables. Then values I have assigned, that is 12 and 5. Now I am performing the arithmetic operations. So result 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have given the names, result 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then these all are int data type, so that's why I have mentioned int res1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I want to store the results in particular variables, but values are same values, but result is different, so that's why I am using different kinds of variables. Now I am printing these variables using SOP, that is a plus b is equal to, what is the operation a plus b? After calculating 12 plus 5, a value is 12 plus b value is 5. 12 plus 5 is what? 17. 17 should be stored on variable what? Result 1. So it is displaying result 1. Similarly, all operations will going to perform. Is it clear? Now you should write a small program using all operators. Please write on past. Here I am giving values and variables. All of you start writing a code. Declare any class name, any name, then write public static void main. Then after you just write this. A is equal to 5, then b is equal to 2, we take 2, then perform arithmetic operations, then write the code, then send it to WhatsApp group fast. You can refer this slide, arithmetic operators. Will you able to write this code, or shall I write code for this? Sujit. Will you write a code for this arithmetic operations? Okay, try it. Use variables I already given a and b. So define int a and a's value comma b's value. Then after you also mention the resultant variables, result 1 or add, sub, multiplication, division, like that you have to mention. So now you just take plus, minus, star and division. You forget about modulus, plus plus, minus minus. You just skip, only use 1, 2, 3, 4 resultant variables, result 1, result 2, result 3 and result 4. Then perform the operation, that is result 1 is equal to what? A plus B. Then result 2 is equal to A minus B. Then print these results back. Because this example you have to write, you must, it's mandatory to write from your own thinking. So how much you understood the Java, that depends on this program. Without practicing you will not get anything. I am repeating this daily, so please try to understand. While slides are displaying, you have to write important points, because you are investing money, so you have to get the knowledge. Without your efforts you will not get any knowledge. After online classes you just revise all kinds of subjects. Especially in programming subject, you must revise yourself. Without revision you will not get any data, any knowledge. And we have started 1 week, so in starting from week I am telling to practice these programs. So write down past. Are you writing? Soumya, are you writing? Ria, are you writing a program? Okay, right. Sujit sent the program. T result 1. Okay. Sujit has written correctly. (908) also written code correctly. Okay, fine. Lena also written A plus B, A minus B. Okay, fine. So 3 students have written correctly. Now, okay, fine. Now we will move on to relational and logical operators. So we have discussed about arithmetic. Just in exam, remember, explain arithmetic operators. It means you have to write these particular operator, then their meanings. After writing this, you just give one example like this. Is that clear? This is explanation of arithmetic operators. So you just mention what is plus, what is minus, star, division, mod, right? After mentioning this, just write the program. That's it. So relational operator and logical operators refers to the relationships that values can have with one another. So it will define what relationship. Logical refers to the ways in which true and false values can be connected together. Logical means it refers true and false. Relational means what kind of relationship that values can have with one another. That is what we can call relational and logical. Logical always performs true and false. Relational means what kind of relationship with other values it has. So since relational operators produce true or false results, they often work with logical operators. So these all are the meanings of relational and logical operators. Let's see. These all are relational operators. In case relational operators, you have to remember these operators: equal, not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal, right? So one example you have to give here. Equal operator, here equal operator means you have to use two equal, means it is in programming language it is equal. So I am writing here one example I am giving. 3 is equal to 5. It is true or false? What is your opinion? It is false. 3 is not equal to 5, right? So it is false. Now second operator, I am using one example. 3 not equal 5. Condition true or false here? Condition is false. Condition is false. 3 is not equal to 5. True or false? Condition is true. Now 3 greater than 5. 3 greater than 5. In this case, condition is becomes what? False, because it is not greater than 5. Now in next example, 3 less than 5, it returns true because condition is true. 3 is always less than 5. Now equal, greater than or equal. 3 greater than or equal to 5. Here condition is what? False. Then in next case, 3 less than or equal to 5, condition is what? False. Why it is false? Because we are using equal operator here. Equal operator, in this case it is false. If it is not equal operator, then it will display true, but here we are using equal operator, so it is condition is false. So these all are some examples, and what are the operators you have to use in relational operators. Okay, in exam you have to write this table chart, then also you have to write this relational operator meaning, then you have to write this table chart and one example, right? After writing, if you are interested or if you have any time, then you write program, small program you have to write. Here I am defining two variables, that is int type, int a equal to 7 and b is equal to 11. Now I am printing the conditions directly. So using SOP I am writing a is equal to b. So in this case what will happen? A is equal to b, condition becomes false or true. What is your opinion? Are you there online? Yeah. Now tell me, are you confusing with this line SOP A is equal to B? Are you understood this? How it will going to print? I am displaying result. I am displaying result in directly. Okay, within only one line I am printing the result. Okay, instead of writing here result is equal to A is equal to B, I am not performing extra operation here. Only one operation I am getting the result. So in SOP it will check the condition whether it is true or false. It only displays the values either true or false, because these all are relational operators, right? So A is equal to B, I am printing. So this condition, if condition is true, it will display the true. If condition false, it displays the false. Now in this situation, 7 is equal to 11, is it true or false? It is false. Now then next operator, that is okay, not equal operator, SOP. A is not equal to B, so A value is how much? 7 is not equal to 11. Condition is true or false here? In this condition, in this case, condition is true. 7 is not equal to 11, so it is displaying true. Now this operator greater than A greater than B, 7 greater than 11, condition false, so it displays what? False result. In less than symbol, 7 less than 11, condition is true, so it will display true, right? Shall we execute this program? Okay, let's see. Now I am compiling the Java program, Java C followed by mca.java. Now compilation is done. Now I am going to execute Java MCA. So this is result I am getting. Are you seeing this black screen? See here, it will display results like this, only false, true, false, true, false, true, like this. So A equal to B we are writing here, so it is condition is false, that's why it is displaying false. Now in second case, it is condition is true, so it is displaying condition is true, right? Now in third case, A greater than B, so 7 greater than 11, so it is condition is false, so it is display condition is false. Now 7 less than 11, so condition is true, it is displaying true. Now A greater than or equal to B, so condition is false, so here A less than or B, condition is true, it is displaying true, right? So this is what relational arithmetic operations. Now we'll see logical operators. Logical operators. In logical operators, you just remember these operators: AND operator, OR operator. So it is char symbol, it is called what? Char symbol, so it is nothing but XOR or exclusive OR. XOR, this one is short circuit OR, this one is short circuit AND. These all are new terminology. See here in your C++, apart from this, in Java you have to remember this one is short circuit OR, or this one is short circuit AND, and this operator is nothing but not operator, right? AND or XOR, short circuit OR, short circuit AND, then it is not. So these all are logical operators. We'll see how this will work. So I am taking small example here. SOP 5 less than 5 greater than 3 and 8 greater than 5. So here two operands we are using, 5 greater than 3 and 8 greater than 5. If this condition is true, then also it has to check this condition also true. If both the conditions are true, then it will display true. If any one condition is fails, then it will display the result as false, right? Here I am using in first line 5 greater than 3, condition is true, yes. Now 8 greater than 5, condition is true, so true, result should be true. In second case 5 greater than 3, condition is true, right? Now 8 less than 5, here condition becomes fails. If one of the condition becomes fails, so result should be what? False. This is short circuit AND. Now in OR operator, here any one condition true, it will display result is true. When both the conditions are false, result should be false. So let's see here, 5 less than 3, condition is true. Now 8 greater than 5, condition is true, so it is displaying true, right? Now in OR, 5 less than 3, condition is what here? Condition true. Or 8 less than 5, both the conditions are true, but we are getting the result is what? False, because it is short circuit OR operator. Now in NOT operator, SOP 5 equal to 3, that is not 5 equal to 3, condition is true. And 5 greater than 3 not means condition is false, so it is true but it is not means it is displaying false. These all are logical operators examples. Now a small example regarding that short circuit and short circuit OR. So here I am writing using if statement. Still I am not discussing this if else statement, but in next class I am going to discuss, but for concept understanding I am writing this program. So in public static void main I am applying one condition. That condition is what? If we are applying condition with the help of if statement only, right? If 0 equal to 1 and 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So here we are using short circuit AND operator. Short circuit AND operator. This condition will going to check 0 is equal to 1. Condition is true or false? Can anyone tell? Condition is true or false? Here 0 equal to 1. False. Now check the other condition. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This condition is true or false? It is true, right? So one condition is false, one condition is true. In this case total if condition becomes what? False. So if condition becomes false, directly this statement will going to execute this output due to short circuit. That we can call it is short circuit. Whenever one condition is true and one condition is false, in that case total short circuit AND becomes false. If condition becomes false, execute the false statement. This output is going to display due to short circuit. And if I write here 1 equal to 1, so this condition becomes true, at that time this line will going to execute. But here our one condition becomes false, so that's why it is not executing. So it will executing what? False statement. False statement we are writing in else part. Else, right? If condition is true, execute this line. If condition is false, execute this line. Now in our example, if condition is failing, so this line is executing. This line we can call short circuit example. Understood this? Is it clear? Leena, Soumya, Sumaya? Okay. Now, short circuit logical operators and or operators are called short circuit operators. A short circuit operator is one that doesn't necessarily evaluate all of its operands. So it will not going to evaluate all operands, right? Only once it will going to evaluate if condition becomes fail or false, so it will display the false values only. So it will not going to check other condition also. So that is a case we can call short circuit logical operators. And using this is what meaning and, then short circuit, yes. Here and in single operator using and, here short circuit will not going to happen. In case or, here short circuit will going to happen. Double and double or, in these two terminology only will get short circuit. Short circuit means false statement will going to execute, and or here no short circuit, right? So now in this example what will happen, see here, system dot out 0 equal to 0, condition is true or false. True. And if it is true, then check the next condition. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, condition is true. So in this case, which line will going to print, first line or second line? First line will going to execute because condition is true. So prints there will be no short circuit because condition, both the operands have true conditions, so it will going to print true statement. Here true statement is prints there will be no short circuit. If it is 1 instead of 1, we are going to get the output from this output will not going to print like this. Okay, this is short circuit logical operators. Just remember, short circuit means whenever the condition becomes fails, that will going to execute false statement, that we can call short circuit operators. New meaning they have given, just that's it. Okay, now the difference between normal and short circuit is what? The normal operands will always evaluate each operand. Normal operands. In case short circuit, only it will evaluate second operand only, not in each operands. Only it will evaluate only one operand. So these all are the difference between short circuit and normal circuit. Now we will see the next concept, what? Assignment operator. In assignment operator we are using single equal sign, so it is called assignment operator. You already know this concept, right? So with the help of single equal sign we are assigning the value to variable. For example, variable followed by single equal sign, then expression. Expression means what? Here you may assign value or you may assign a plus b, a minus b. A plus b means what? Here it is expression. If it is 100, it is value, like that. Okay, we can assign value or expression to the variable. In arithmetic operators we have written program, right? Result 1 is equal to a plus b, that is what? Expression. A plus b is a expression assigning to variable 1 variable result 1, that is the meaning. So it is assignment operator using single equal sign. Now while assigning, one more point you have to remember, same value you can assign in single line. So I have defined three variables, that is x, y, z. Then x is equal to y, y is equal to z, z is equal to 100. It means all variables has the value 100. So single line also we can define. This is a difference of multiple variables assigning single value. Is that clear? I hope it is clear. Okay, now time, okay, time is off now. Time is up, so you can leave the meeting now. Okay, leave and have breakfast. Thank you. Okay.